Okay, so let me explain briefly. Oh, sorry. So I'm Stephane. This is Nate, and Yaron over here. So we traveled a lot, all three of us, before coming here. And one thing that is pretty much a constant wherever you go, it's easy to find a hotel. It's pretty easy to find a flight to go there, but it's really hard to find something to do of it. So that's the problem we try to solve here by creating a kind of search engine for activities. So how does that work? So you land on this page, right? And you have straight away a list of the thing you can do today, the thing you can do this weekend, and also the top things to do, which are bring here by number of clicks on them. So let's follow. So if we click on one activity, it brings us to this activity page where you can find a nice fancy map with a little bit of the weather over there, a description of what's going on, the time, the duration, where the stuff is happening. And we are not an activity builder, we're just a search engine. So you will find a little link. If you click on, it will bring you straight to wherever this event is going on, this activity is going on. Okay, but that's good, but what if I want to do something else? Well, we have a search bar for that. So let's try. Let's say that I want to fly today or tomorrow in California. How about that? So let's see what's going on. Here we go. So we have a bunch of results of flight spot, probably. Let's follow one. Here we go. It's very good. It's not that far. It's really cool, right? So if you want to see a bit more of that, you can click in here and see what the hell it is, what a jetpack. So you have pretty much the same layout as the front page. We don't have any dated event for that because those are only like local businesses running those things. So you're only at the top page, but if you go for, let's say, baseball or stuff like that, you're probably going to see some events going on today, this weekend, and so on. And if you want even more information than this, because it's just a bunch of activities, you can click in there, and you'll have, for most activities, a little video that explains what's going on, and a little description below as well. Yes, that's about it for the navigation part of it. In terms of technical challenge, so we can go back to the front page maybe. In terms of technical challenge, obviously our biggest challenge, in addition to the data, was the search engine. There was like the beast to deal with. We spent a lot of time on that, obviously, and I think we did a decent job. And one of the biggest challenges we had, in addition to just the algorithm to come up with results, was the efficiency, because we have a big database, 30,000 lines or something. And so at the very beginning, that was pretty lame, the response time. But I'm going to let Nate talk to you more about this optimization of requests.
Sure. So as Stephane said, like on the first day when we were scraping results, our database got pretty huge pretty quick. We had like 30,000 results, and when we clicked to see even the front page or a result page, it would take like 5 to 6 seconds for the page to load, which is ridiculous. So we had to cut that time down. Some of the things, like we pretty much benchmarked everything. Like even the views, we noticed things in partials were loading like twice as slow as things outside of partials. So we had to pull some stuff out of partials. We narrowed our queries down. We indexed pretty much, all of these fields are optional. Like a user might not type when, they might not type budget. So we had to index pretty much like every possible search that the user could type. We cached the queries, we cached the pages, and also building the query, we pretty much built one string query because it ended up being faster than several smaller queries. And then as far as the search itself, when a user types something in, like I want to fly, we know I and want are pretty common words and they're not going to return any results, so we pretty much eliminate those right away. And then we also parse the sentence for the whole sentence at once, so it can catch like next week, and it knows what next week is, or next month, or next year. But then we also have to get single words, like even with Christmas, as opposed to like Christmas Eve, right? So we had to parse each individual word. We had to account for dates, money, all sorts of stuff. So money. it can separate the least from the most. And the other thing we were really concerned about is making the search intelligent. And I think Yaron's going to talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so one of the ways we're using to make search intelligent is having an admin page that we can actually go in and see every word that's been typed into search. So these are the ones that we currently don't have in our database. We don't have a relationship for them. We don't know what they link to or what they mean. So an admin can actually go in and say like, oh, W, well, that doesn't actually link to anything, and just set it to junk. And anytime a user types in W, it just throws that away. And then at the same time, let's say we have the word watch that might relate to a category and activity, so that'll link directly to category. We can create that category link, and now we know to parse our categories for the word watch and return those events. At the same time, when you're building a search engine, I don't want to give you garbage as a user. I don't want you to have the results that you don't want. So one of the things we have to do is we constantly have to test the search engine. And one of the things we found is constantly optimizing the queries through tests. We found out that if you type in CA into where, you will actually get an error. But if you type CA into the search bar, it'll actually write California. So we figured out that we're actually parsing on the full state name and not relating CA to California. So the tests help us optimize search in that way.
Yeah, pretty much it. So that was the strategy really with the test. I think the first day and a half, Yaron wrote 100 something tests, and that was our big challenge to, well, with the 5 or so days we had, to manage to come up with something that, well, is going to pass all those tests. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Do you guys have any questions?
Sure. This was about search preferences, like family activities, single activities, to make it more relevant.
Sorry, I didn't quite.
Relevant for each user.
Yeah, relevant for each group. For example, for people with kids, might want something totally different from single people. Make it more relevant for you, put more relevant results for you.
Yeah, I mean,
Specify I'm the user with the family, so therefore the search engine knows immediately get those results.
sure. So we thought about a couple things. Like we thought about having users and then being able to track what a specific user is searching. And I read like a ton on search and how to make it better. But it's like an endless process, and we only had a week. So like we tried to make it as good as we could in a week, but I think we could have spent the entire week just on the search bar. It's still not again.
Yeah, so definitely the user was like the first day decision. We decided to say, okay, we're not going to make any user table or whatsoever. We had actually the first initial run we had, we discussed this a little bit before, and we had like this massive database with the user links everywhere. We said, no, this is not going to work. So we decided dramatically to go really activities oriented, so only this. And for, I think the first 2 days, we had only one table. And so we started working on it. And it expands, obviously, but we started working with something really core because our focus was on the search itself. Yep.
I have a couple. I will start with one. It's nice what you do with the tokenizer. You write something in the bar and you automatically can detect the tokens and assign to everything. Mm-hmm. And also when you hit enter, I think the same logic you have in the backend. So you have the same logic on the front end and in the backend. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, so what's going on is when we start typing, on key up, so every single time you touch a key, we're going to send a request to our server to grab all those words that Yaron told you about and to start filling the form. That's the first process. And indeed, when you hit enter and you want to find activities, we're going to send a request to the server and do the same thing. We're going to match all those words, no matter if you just used the bar over there, or if you just fill in the form, because you can click on those question words and you're going to toggle the form, you can fill in the form here. So in both cases, we're going to do the first inquiry. In one case, we're going to redirect you straight to this page. In the other one, we're going to give you the results. Yep.
Maybe I missed that, but what was spelling mistakes? Is that account for that?
So one of the things I really wanted to do was implement a search store that would match the words that the user typed in to the words that we had in the database, and pair it if it was off by only like a small amount. We just didn't have the time to do it, but it was something we really wanted to do. For really common ones, we can see through the admin page, and we've kind of mapped them to the proper thing, but not fully.
How many keywords have you talking here?
Our words table is actually pretty enormous.
Go down, checking for
30,000. It's pretty much the same size as the activity table.
Right.
And it obviously grows.
I'm guessing all of these events are tagged with keywords of some kind.
Correct. So basically how the words table is working, for every single word, you have a wordable type, which is more or less in which one of those fields the word can fit. So for one single word, it can fit in different spots. That said, we try to keep the thing smart and to take some decisions every now and then. Like for example, we start city, our cities with all the US cities, 30,000. And there was a big fail. For example, if you type Christmas, you're going to see Christmas. Because Christmas is a city. If you type day, you're going to see day. Because day is a city in the US. So there was a fair bit of a challenge. How to decide what's the most relevant. And that's
Contextual mapping, I guess.
yeah. So that's yeah. Yes.
My question. I forgot. Someone else.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Can you explain how you guys do scraping?
Oh yeah, that was my question. What guys are you using to get your data?
No APIs. It's all scraped and recognized.
So yeah, more or less we scraped I think 9 different sources, and that was the first day and a half. And we had a very strong database really quickly, like Nate said earlier. And we said, okay, now we have a ton of data. Let's start working with this. But obviously, we have some spots where we have tons. Like for example, ticketing events, basketball games, all those things. We have tons. But some other stuff that were more tricky to get. So all those tickets come from one website, where, for example, the trails. I think Nature scraped 3 different websites. So it's really depending on what you want to show. It's really sometimes it's super easy, sometimes it's really hard. So yeah, but definitely it's something that, like the search engines, endless.
I also face like an interesting problem with some sites that you'd have to like nest down pages to get that information, and then as you come out to go to the next list, that page would have pagination. So we had to make a scraper that would kind of go down several pages, get the data, pop back up, paginate, do all this sort of stuff all at once. So it was interesting challenges.
Time for one more question.
So for the other boots here, how much sleep per night on average do you get while building this?
I got more than they did, but
This guy doesn't sleep.
Depends. Yeah, just put myself on the wall.
One more real question.
Okay.
So you have some really beautiful imagery on the whole site, and on the water jetpacking site, which is like perfect for that, and you have the video associated with that. Are you dynamically generating videos and imagery associated with keywords? Or?
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. We have 130 different categories, I would say. So that was time consuming, but for most of them, the core one, the one we want to put in front of our search engine, we dig them and we come up with the pictures ourselves and the YouTube videos and stuff like this. We add a couple of good video sources, and there's one guy on the web that does all those crazy stuff. So he gave us like at least 20 at once. But yeah, that was definitely something we had to, that was completely manual. Even though, so for example, the water jetpack, it's referenced nowhere, because it's kind of new. So you can type it on the web, you're going to land on the company that built this thing. It's really, really unknown, so for some of those, we had to manually enter them. Yeah.
all right, let's give it up. Let's do something.